Right, we are live, and it's been a long day, but it's been a very enjoyable day. For those of you that are curious about how days like this work, let me tell you, it didn't start very well because I need a bit of order in my life, and I don't get much order. But when routine, a little bit of routine disappears, my sleeping goes all over the place. I've had insomnia since I was in university and fell asleep at 7 o'clock in the morning. Do you know what doesn't help? Right now, if you look over the window, you will see actually light as if the day was starting, and it's like, is it 2 something? So, anyway, when you slept 3 hours, you wonder how you're going to be in the morning, but I was okay. And I started late, with a little bit of a sandwich and a latte in my favorite coffee shop in Moscow already, and read the papers, talked to some people, and then I went to the Belgium game. We'll go back to it. I'll finish with the day. Then I went to the mix zone, have a couple of interesting conversations, which I'll share with you. Then I watched most of the Mexico-Korea game, and because I had to, because I was on Australian television at the end of the day. And then I watched the Germany game, in which I saw another proof again of what it is to be an elite player. We had a Michael Jordan moment at the end of the game where Kroos took the free kick. Apparently, Roy said, "Have you seen the size of the Swedish lads? Just don't put a cross in, just go for it." And he did go for it. And you could say perhaps the goalkeeper could have done more, but actually he came with a pace and a swerve that made that difficult. That's the end of the day. And then I went to Australian TV with Phil Neville, and then we talked about all of the stuff that we're going to talk about now. So starting with Belgium, and remind me to talk to you about Argentina as well. Yes, Kroos messed it up, Ruben, I know, and that's part of what I want to talk about, because there are players that after they get something like that happening, where he missed out not only in the pass for the first goal for the goal that Germany conceded, he actually defended very badly as well, and he was beaten with a pass in behind, which he couldn't put his head to, and it was a disaster. But then he overcame that. Mentally, he's so strong. But we'll go back to that. American TV, I haven't been offered that possibility this World Cup. I've done it in the past. I was doing Fox TV in South Africa. Anyway, Belgium. JTC, as impressive as Spain and Brazil, to be honest, I would say even more impressive. What I saw of Belgium is a team that, 2 things, has got lots of layers, different ways of attacking. They defend well, and the defenders are a unit, but everybody knows their roles and responsibilities. The midfielders are midfielders, but of course they know when to attack. The forwards just keep making runs, well, in the case of Lukaku, and Hazard knows that he's got to link. They know the position in the pitch, they know what they have to do, but that's not the most impressive part of it. What I saw was that when they conceded the goal, it made it 2-1, with Tunisia perhaps not deserving that goal because it was a little bit against the run of play, but it shook Belgium a little bit. And when they don't play well, or when they were affected by it, they were still dangerous. There were still players with personality saying, "Okay, give me the ball, I'll do it now." And when things are not going your way, you've got the possibility of having players who do that, or a team that recovers little by little, and then plays even better than they started the game. You've got a serious team, and it is a serious team. The tempo of the first 15-20 minutes was amazing. The main difference in World Cups is the pace in which things get done. For me, that's the main difference, and the quality once you go that extra gear, because it's not the same to just run like headless chickens, but actually run and do things accurately. Well, Belgium were doing that. And after the game, I spoke to a couple of the guys, a player and a member of the coaching staff, and I'll tell you who it is. And I was wondering what's changed in the last 2 years, and I think quite clearly, if you follow Belgium a little bit closely, what you see is a team that has, before coming to Russia, has changed. They've taken away those that did not fit in. This was a team that was always thinking of, players were thinking of themselves first, and then the team. But once you take the ones that should not be there, what happens is natural leaders come to the fore. Lukaku is the kind of guy that goes into the changing room and kicks everything if the performance hasn't been right. It's his way of showing to everybody this is not right. Hazard, with a joke here and there, a little bit more relaxed. It's about performance. He gives the performance that is never below a 7. And Kevin De Bruyne is again a guy that will seriously talk about what's happening to anybody, coaches or players, and then of course will put a performance on the pitch that allows him to continue to be a leader. Attitude is what's changed with Belgium. We always knew there was good quality, but attitude and personality is what's coming to the fore now. An example, for instance, there was a free day 2 or 3 days ago, and Roberto Martinez said, "You don't need to come training." Most of the guys came to train, and they trained really well and really sharply. So it wasn't just for the post. So with that in mind, you have to consider Belgium candidates for anything. There's something else that has been added to Belgium. It is what we call the positional game. Those rules and responsibilities that I was talking to you about. People wait for his role to take, for the ball to get to them, for the moment. They don't force the moment, it just comes naturally. And if Lukaku doesn't touch the ball a lot, he doesn't drop deep to get it. If De Bruyne feels that he's not impacting the game as much as he would like to in his position, he doesn't change the position or go somewhere else to find more of a protagonist role. So all that works in the favor of Belgium. It seems to be a good atmosphere there as well. Batshuayi was smiling, for instance, having made some chances, but scoring, of course. So that was Belgium. And those that say, it puts in perspective what England did against Tunisia, don't understand football, I have to say. Because Tunisia, when they came to the World Cup, it was like, right, World Cup, first game against powerful England. Let's go for the first victory. When they didn't get it, the attitude has been, and the style, and the tactics have been different. Against England, it was all about defending. Against Belgium, they opened up. And of course, they got killed. But impossible to compare. So that was Belgium. Mexico, it was interesting because it wasn't glorious Mexico. It wasn't a perfect game, but you could see the quality of the guys up front and the attitude from the whole team. It all starts really. I don't know if you heard the interview that Chicharito gave before the World Cup. If you haven't, go and find it on YouTube somewhere. It's in Spanish, but in which he gets asked, what's the chance for this team, quarterfinals, and Russia win. We're going to Russia to win, and it's reconnecting because the Wi-Fi has failed us. So I hope it's working. I'm waiting for reconnecting to disappear. I'll keep talking just in case it's working. Is it working? Oh, you can tell. Oh, it's working. Okay, thanks. What was I talking about? Mexico. So, Layun and his link to the attack, Carlos Vela in between the lines, Chicharito with the interview. That's what I was talking about. So he was saying, like, what are you talking about quarterfinals? We can do much more. We come in to win. And today they were all humble, was saying, we're here to win. This is what we want to do. This is what we will do. Try to win anyway. So, because there is, as Del Trotta, you saying, yeah, not seeing an outstanding team at the World Cup yet, there is a possibility that anything can happen. And Mexico, for them, is the belief. Watch that interview, because Chicharito was like, come on. And the journalist at the end was like, actually, you convincing me. Yes, we can do it. So that's Mexico, and of course, only one team can win it. But it is an open World Cup, certainly. And then Germany, Sweden. Few things to come out from it. It took a while well, no, actually, the beginning of the game, Germany were very, very good, but nothing happened, no goals scored. And then Sweden, little by little, adjusted things, especially when the guys up front, when Royce and Timo Werner and Drexler and missing somebody, when they started getting into the box or moving around, basically Sweden adjusted after 10-15 minutes. The runs were being followed. There was no much space. When the fullbacks attacked, they were followed as well. They didn't. Germany didn't double up or create superiority in wide areas, and it all became very, very equal. Then, of course, after the Sweden game, but especially in the second half, you saw Germany that put a gear up. I like the fact that Gundogan, even though by accident, was on the pitch. Gundogan and De Bruyne made Germany play, made them tick, made them in different wings that were coming through the centre, inside channels that were putting crosses in with Mario Gomez in the second half. They used that, obviously, that possibility. But yes, Germany had chances, but the two moments, VAR moments, which I don't understand why they weren't given. The penalty to Berg, which gets mentioned by Sweden after the game, in which they said it was a penalty. Why wasn't it given? I imagine that VAR commented to the referee the fact that it looks like it's a penalty, mate. But the referee must have seen it and decided to then not give it, but it was a penalty. But then there was another incident in which Muller tripped a Swedish player and tripped him, and he only got replayed once. Tripped him quite clearly with the intention of doing exactly that. But and I think that is, but it seems to me there's clear content, but it wasn't given. Now it's Germany, and I just wonder if in the unconscious the big teams will still be favoured like they've always have been favoured. Controversy will not disappear. At the end is one person deciding if VAR can be used or not, and that's of course the referee. And I hear that this referee likes to be protagonist, to take decisions that are a little bit off the cuff, and not so much of the cuff, but a little bit different. Mateo Laoz, the Spanish referee, is exactly like that. Anyway, Liverpool bid for Asensio, just a little break. No, Asensio is staying in Madrid. Okay, can we go back to the World Cup now? So, Germany at the end, they kept going and attacking and being patient. Admirable, that way of working, that way of playing, that way of insisting, that way of believing and having faith in a style. It wasn't all about long balls to the strikers. It was about building and attacking and creating superiorities in part of the pitch, and then 1v1s, and then you creating spaces and trying to use it. It was absolutely fantastic. I really, really enjoyed Germany in the second half, but it needed a moment of somebody who's got an elite mind, special mind. So as I said earlier, Kroos gets the opportunity. Kroos who had made the mistake in the goal, of course, with missing the pass, and then, as I said, just didn't defend well for the goal. I think he spent the whole game wanting the ball and giving it and offering it and shooting from outside the box, and eventually given the opportunity to make an impact, he took that opportunity. Some people hide. When you are a top player, to be a superstar is when the heat is on and how you react to it. Kroos who's a very cold-minded man, had that opportunity, took it, and scored. So now it means that that group, everybody can qualify. So that's going to be interesting. Hello, Sean-Luc from Ireland. So what else was I tell you? Argentina. There's been a bit of a coup d'etat. I agree, Germany's defense still looks shaky, the Vickers, because they risk so much. And of course, Boateng now is going to be missing, have been sent off. And they risk so much. They need a lot of pace to track back, and they need a lot of work from the midfielders to make sure that they don't get exposed as they were against Mexico. But Germany will improve, and as they've been in the last, 4 tournaments, I think they'll make the semi-finals. But what's interesting, of course, is that England will like to be part, and we can talk about England a bit, to be second. And on that, by the way, they like to be second because of course, second may avoid Argentina, Nigeria, France, Brazil, Germany. On that, Belgium called out 3 injuries at the end. Happens to be at least 3 of the most important players: Martins, Lukaku, and Hazard. They got injuries. They picked injuries. And there's going to be major changes against England. Who wants to win that game? Maybe England still needs to win that game, in which case they'll have to try it. But second in that group is a better draw. Anyway, Sampaoli. Hello, Pro Gamer. I think you were there yesterday as well. Germany stood between Pep Guardiola, Bayades, and Joachim Low. I don't agree. In fact, let me take you another detour. I think it's Spain torn between 2 different styles. Not so much Germany. I think in Germany you see a style clearly. Spain, on the other hand, it's got the Costa, Isco, Koke, Spain, and the Iniesta, Busquets, and Silva, Spain. And I think there's rumours that Asensio may start and Saul may start. It takes it towards the Koke, Costa, and Isco, Spain. What I'm saying with that is Isco plays tiki-taka, which is the worst version of possession and positional game. Positional game is where everybody has got a role. You touch the ball 100 times or 100 million times, but just a second each time. You move the ball quickly that way. That's Iniesta, if you know what I'm trying to say. Isco drives with the ball, attracts defenders, makes the position of everybody redundant, because what are you doing? Where are you going? And it ends up being a cul-de-sac, because he comes out of it sometimes, it looks so good. But I think it goes against how Spain won. So the Spain that won so much has been taken away from the players that won so much. That's what I think of Spain. Doesn't mean that we will, it doesn't mean that we won't win, but what it means is that it is a different Spain what we're seeing. Good luck with it, and when Iniesta goes, it'll be easier to take it the other way if people want to do so, but that's not how we won. Anyway, Germany on the other hand, it seems to me still quite balanced in the way they approach things. Argentina, just quickly. Hardcore Barca TV, that's what we're going to do. Connor G, hello. So, is it 7 national coaches in the last 10 years or so? Is it different ways? 3 since the qualifiers of the World Cup. Different ways of understanding the game, different ways of trying to get the best out of Messi. Please do me a favor and look at the lineup of Argentina and tell me how can you win the World Cup with that. And in fact, the way I see it is that Messi has saved Argentina all these years while everything around him was collapsing, but he cannot do it any longer. Or can he? Against Nigeria, we'll see. It doesn't look good because it looked like a defeated team. And since then, the captains, the veterans have taken over the side. Basically, Sampaoli will disappear after the World Cup. He cannot be disappearing now. I will put Lo Celso and Ever Banegas program is saying exactly that. I don't know exactly who's going to play yet, but I think it won't be Sampaoli choosing the team. And that happens because they just don't trust the choices of Sampaoli, who's used 13 different lineups in 13 games. Somebody said to me it was 59 games he's used. Seems to me a lot. But anyway, a lot of them not worth of what the Argentinians shared. A lot of them without a clear idea of what the coach wanted. There's not enough instructions. There's not enough. And it's so disappointing and sad, really. They found themselves a lifeline with Nigeria getting the 3 points. So we will see what happens there. We'll keep an eye on that, of course. And we touched on everything. We've done 20 minutes already. So I think I should just go and grab some water and have to chat with Rafi Honigstein, who's outside. I know it's late, but I think what happens now is what happened to me last night. So excited about everything that's going on that I'm not going to be able to sleep pretty soon. So maybe I should watch a TV series. What do you recommend me? I've got a few suggestions from home that I've listed somewhere. Westworld. Anyway, I'll keep talking to you. I really enjoy this. I hope you do. It's fun. Bye. Seinfeld? No, I watched all that. Bye.